Joining me now, White House economic advisor Jared Bernstein. Jared, welcome back. Good to have you with us tonight. Thanks for being here.
Sure.
So you hear Senator Rick Scott speaking in that interview, and he's talking about spending and blaming spending for the inflation that we're seeing. And it just raises this question. So if we're seeing these interest rate hikes, which are the goal of them is to sort of choke off demand in the economy. So if that's the goal, then when you give people more money, even through the ways that are measured in the Inflation Reduction Act, like lowering drug costs, you put more money in people's pockets through student debt relief, then aren't you working at cross purposes?
Well, I think there's a very simple way to evaluate that, and Rick Scott either knows this and isn't saying it, or he should know it, which is to just look at the net of the government spending, whether we're talking about 2021 or 2022. In both cases, the budget deficit came down very significantly. In 2021, $350 billion, and in 2022, these are fiscal years, so it ends at the end of this year, historic deficit reduction, something like $1.5 trillion with a T. So I guess Rick Scott's arithmetic is maybe different than others, and maybe that's why his plan is to put Social Security, Medicare on the chopping block every few years, and to raise taxes on the middle class. That's not our plan.
So isn't that reduction, though, largely because there was $3.8 trillion flooded into the market in different forms of COVID relief, and then that was pulled back? So, I mean, isn't that largely the reduction? And I'm not sure that makes a difference for people who have lower wages and they have to pay more for things. It doesn't seem like those two things actually add up.
So you want to be careful not to conflate some issues here. So one issue is the government stepping on the fiscal accelerator? That is government fiscal policy contributing to inflation, say, this year? And the answer, based on over $1 trillion of deficit reduction, is no. That doesn't negate the point that inflation is too high. Which it is, and we're doing everything we can to help. As you played in your introduction, the last couple of months have been a respite, and of course gas prices have been a real bit of breathing room for American consumers. But if you look at the government's fiscal role, much like you described the Federal Reserve, the fiscal impulse is a strong negative from the government sector this year. That's baked in the cake. Oh, by the way, you said a lot of that is just the spending falling off. That's definitely part of it, Martha. You're not wrong. But actually, in percentage terms, the bigger increase is receipts coming into the Treasury. Receipts coming into the Treasury up about 25%. In FY22, spending down about 18%. So the percentage increase in receipts has been even larger. That is a function of the strong
that
Biden
means more
recovery.
Tax dollars are coming into the federal government, which is a whole nother story. I mean, the federal government has, brought in larger tax
receipts. Very much a strong economy
year
story.
upon year.
Oh, right,
okay,
so that's very much
the problem is that people's wages are not keeping pace with inflation. Here's the president talking about what he's interpreting as an improvement, which is status quo, which you just mentioned, which I'm not sure people are feeling in their real lives. Watch this.
You're not arguing that 8.3 is good news.
No, I'm not saying it is good news, but it was 8.2 or 8.2 before. I mean, it's not. Maybe I can make it sound like all of a sudden, my God, it went to 8.2%. It's
the highest inflation rate, Mr. President, in 40 years.
I got that. But guess what we are? We're in a position where for the last several months, it hasn't spiked. It is just barely, it's been basically even.
So the White House argument is that people are supposed to feel good about the fact that it's basically even though the core number went up 0.6, which, as you know, concerned a lot of economists. When they dug into that number, they think that means inflation is going to be around for some time. But the president says the number didn't spike. But here's the number over the course of the presidency: from 1.4% inflation to 8.3. So the number has absolutely spiked over the 24-month period of the Biden presidency.
I don't think you'll hear any White House economists or policy analysts saying Americans should feel good about inflation. In fact, we know inflation is a significant challenge to households, and that's why we've done so much to try to help. Now, you talked about everything spiking. Well, in fact, gas prices have of course, spiked in the other direction. They're down $1.30 per gallon.
But they're still $1.30 higher than they were when the president took office.
I let you ask your question. Please let me give you my answer. So,
but they're still higher.
About $1.34 down. That's a savings of about $70 per month for the average driver, and so that's some real breathing room. But we also have helped to make sure that goods are getting through the ports, getting from ship to shelf. Shelves are stocked the way they were before the pandemic. And then there's the Inflation Reduction Act, lowering the cost of prescription drugs, of insulin for seniors, of health care, of energy. And you know what the Republicans' top priority is? To repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. Martha, that's the same thing as saying our top economic priority is to increase health care costs.
Well, they don't want to pour any more money into the economy.
Hold on. Our top economic priority is to increase health care costs, increase insulin costs to seniors, increase energy costs, increase health care costs. That's not our top economic priority. We're pushing in the other direction.
Well, a lot of those changes would take quite a while to actually kick in. And I think their argument is that the more stimulus you put in, Larry Summers makes the same argument, the longer you're going to drag out inflation. So we'll see. We have to look at these numbers and see if you guys are right.
Well, why don't you
over
get
time,
Larry
and we'll
on?
have you back and we'll talk about it some more.
Well, get Larry on and ask him what he thought about the Inflation Reduction Act. He was a big supporter. Why? Because it makes critical investments in good union jobs in America while cutting the prices that families face.
But I believe he said it wasn't going to make
healthcare,
a difference
in prescription drugs,
for the first
and
couple
in
of
energy.
years.
Well, some of it starts quickly and some of it comes later. But yes, happy to talk later, Martha.
All right, we'll pick it up next time, Jared. Thank you very much. Jared Bernstein at the White House.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.